Welcome to Straits Talk, a podcast by Straits Interactive, where we talk about the value, risks, and constraints of the data protection, data governance, and generative AI. I'm 𝘕𝘓𝘂, co-founder of Straits Interactive. With us today, we have Terence Ng, a seasoned leader with over 30 years experience in technology, cybersecurity, and security printing across the APAC region. Terence has led business development and operations in various multinationals. Welcome to the show, Terence.
Thank you, Alvin.
Well, Terence, you held senior positions and DPO simultaneously, I understand. Even navigating a firm to Trustmark, Data Protection Trustmark for Singapore. That's very unusual for a person at your level to actually hold this two positions. Can you tell me more how this dual perspective shape your approach in operational compliance and the leadership decisions?
Yeah, you're right that there are not many senior management or senior manager that take on this role as a DPO, which seems to be quite operational. But from hindsight, I think it is the perfect combination. The reason being that in the company that I was in, data is very important, right? I mean, our lifeline actually is based on data integrity, and having a two-in-one, kind of a dual-head role, it allows me to make the right decision, allocate the right resources, and to do what is important. The reason why I offer to also take on this role, I have to thank you, because there was part of our life, right, where I think it was between 2015 and 2019, where we were working together as partners. I was from a cybersecurity firm. And then at that time, you were driving a lot of data protection, privacy initiative, and we worked together. So from there, I realized the importance of data protection. So when I have a chance to take on this role, and my boss asked me to say, do you want to double up as DPO? I say, yeah, come on, I'll take it on, man. It was a good learning opportunity for me as well.
Oh, that's a very unique perspective. And like you mentioned, doing this thing, you actually have to involve a lot of stakeholders. I hear DPOs sometimes struggle to get management support because, again, this thing people may think, it's a one-man job, but they say I'm going to involve other stakeholders. How would you speak to executives like that who see, compliance is a cost center?
I think compliance, it is a cost center, but it's a cost worth paying for, and in fact, it's needed. It's a very much needed cost. And I think more and more we hear this phrase, data is a new goal, right? I mean, whichever industry you're in, you'll be gathering a lot of data, and a lot of this data plus metadata are actually crucial to your organization's success.
And what motivated you all to take on DPTM, the next level is audited?
There's part of the sportsman in me, because I do a lot of sports myself, and I like to take part in race, not because I like to torture myself, but I like to get the trophy. So DPTM to me is a trophy. And the more difficult it is, the more motivated I felt. I also see along the way that the customer, especially where the customer that we serve are all from regulated industry like banks and the government, they are starting to specify, data protection and a lot of certification in their tender spec. So they will tell you even the ranking, right? So a price is, of course, always a major factor, but it's not 80%. It's not even, it's usually around 60 to 70%. And depending on how progressive the organization is, they will have even governance, ESG, and data protection is one of them, right? So I believe you'll come to a stage where you need to have some of this certification in order to participate in their business.
So dealing with these regulated industries, were there like ongoing requirements that also that DPTM was helpful?
Our customer will audit us, and we face audit almost on a monthly basis because we have so many customers. And every one of them, after they do their fact finding, of course, they don't share it with their other customer because they are the competitor. So we have to keep doing this over and over again. And by having a DPTM in the audit process, you don't start from zero. When they see that you have a DPTM, you straight away jump to 5. Right, and then from 5 to 10, it's a smaller hurdle to clear. Okay, of course, we have to put in the effort to maintain that first 5, level 1 to 5. It does help in the in the auditing when customer inspect us. In fact, a lot of customers are now coming back to us and say, oh yeah, we need to sign this addendum to your contract because now there's data protection costs we need to cover. We will know straight away that, oh, what is this? Because we are also doing it to our downstream supplier. Yeah, so things are, we kind of have a common language when you have a DPTM with a customer and our supplier.
Interesting. Or like you said, like you're being audited multiple times by different customers, auditors, right? So there's multiple times a month that you have to do this. So this accelerated. Was there one incident that the auditor mentioned to you, yeah, DPTM then actually was helpful?
I remember there was one particular audit where the DPO of the organization turned out is from a big government agency. So we were kind of surprised, wow. And then he pulled in this spreadsheet or all the questionnaire and the checklist, data protection related. The good thing is that we have gone through this DPTM answering a lot more questions than this. Of course, we don't have to spend a lot of effort to answer those questions, because it's already been done. But having said that, they are not all audits are specific to data protection. But I think in this particular organization, because we are their business process outsourcing, right? So we handle a lot of membership data and all that.
Yeah, good that you talk about business process outsourcing. So let me just switch over now to handling breaches, for example, and handling third party or you as a third party. What do you think was the requirement on your end and also versus your customers?
Yeah, I think when it comes to breaches, I've personally gone through one breach recently. When you go through your compliance and having to achieve the DPTM, you have been trained to have a breach plan. Okay, right? So yeah, we did that. We have drawer plans, we have things like that. But actually, when the incident happened, all hell break loose. And having the operating model in your head does help. But still, we were a bit late in the response. We lost, I think, a couple of maybe 24 to 48 hours, which I think was critical. And the good thing for us is that we actually have all the risk mitigation measure in place. I think the most important one, after learning from this incident, is having an insurer, a cyber insurance company, because they not only, of course, pay for a lot of these damages, but they bring with them their support system, the ecosystem, the legal, the forensic investigator, even the negotiator, in the case of a ransomware. So they are able to assemble the team in a matter of hours.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas on your own, you don't even know who to approach. So my advice is you should get your cyber insurance. And DPTM does help because when you have all these certification together with your ISO 9000, your 27000 whatnot, your premium will be lower as well, right? So so the first thing first is you need to have the right people in the response team. Okay. And what we learn also in the process is when a breach happens, sometimes the top may not have the critical information at the right time, because at the lower level will always try to manage it on their own first. So you have to create an environment and the trust with your employee, right? That when something happens, when they are suspicious, 50% or 60%, they will flag out, right? Rather than keep it to themselves because, my boss is going to kill me. If you don't have the right environment, you will lose that 48% as well. To your point, as a data intermediary, the time is even more critical, because by the time we notify our customer, which owns the data, they will have their own process to go through, right? And then they have to decide when to notify their own customer that their data has been leaked. Yeah, so if we delay, plus their delay is a 2-layer delay, and which will even be more impactful.
Right, and DDPC has a 72-hour window, right? It's quite short. So what I'm hearing from you as intermediary, you actually have a much shorter time to make sure you make determination and notify what you're doing to your data controller with your customer, right? They themselves another clock, which is to the BDPC, or if not, it's MAS, it's the bank or other regulations. So that's interesting. So it becomes a lot more disciplined as SMEs
Yeah.
if you are serving regulated industries, right?
Tabletop exercise become real because tabletop exercise, at least you know what are the steps involved, yeah, and the criticality of timing, etc.
Thank you, Terence, for sharing insights today.
My pleasure.
And this has been Straits Talk. Thank you guys for listening.